Hello and thanks for joining me on the Ghanaian Farmer YouTube channel. Ensure to subscribe, share and introduce someone to this link. It's all about agriculture and everything agri related, agro-business, equipment, everything to put a spotlight on agriculture here in Africa, Ghana, is what we do on this channel. My name is Enyonam and we are all the way in Akosombo. We're here to engage a young man. He is project manager with UK Aid and he still finds time for farming. That is interesting. His name is Edem. And so I'll be engaging him to tell us what a farmer needs to know about nursery. He's into chili pepper production. Thanks to irrigation, he's able to produce all year round. So he will take us through the basics. And then the farm manager would also take us through some agronomy practices that you need to adhere to ensure you get the expected yield. So, Edem, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure, Enyonam. Yeah, thanks for making the time to join us today.
You're welcome. Yeah. How did a project manager, also had passion for farming?
Well, I think so. It's so two things. I think the work I do, international development, with UK Aid in Ghana, we have several programs, some in livelihoods, agriculture. So you are fortunate to see a lot of data, statistics, numbers as to how productivity is key to transforming a nation's economy, and how agri becomes a real catalyst in that space, right?
Okay.
So that's sort of the preview of the work I do and the data and report and stats I see every day. I think that the other bit is also passion.
Okay.
Because I'm somebody who likes to touch stuff and create stuff during my leisure time. So with all the data and stats, it felt right because as a business, it felt convincing. But to do something different, we tried. So, and I think what really took the journey here was during the COVID period when it was locked down. So I started a garden at home.
Okay.
And then just try it. And then it felt like, okay, this thing, it was difficult. The garden didn't survive, to be honest. But it was good.
But the farming is surviving.
No, it has no option to survive because the investment is quite massive.
Okay.
So that was the beginning of our project, Thermal Farms. I have a co-founder, my very good friend Gideon, who couldn't join us today.
How long has it been now since you
so we sort of got our first land sorted out in November 2020.
Okay.
And then we did our first production from April 2021 through to the end of last year. We did about 1.5 acres.
Why settled on chili?
Good question. So when I was having a chat with Gideon, my partner, we had various options, but we realized that chili has a unique value chain. We're trying to battle post-harvest losses. So we felt like with chili, when we harvest, we can either sell green fresh, red fresh, we can dry, sell flake dry, crush it, powder dry. So we felt that the value chain was quite good. And then it was an easy way to escape post-harvest loss. It's not like cucumber. When you harvest cucumber and then nobody picks it on the farm today, you're in trouble.
Yes.
But if nobody comes here to pick it, we'll go downstairs. You see our drying facility. We just take a chill pill, dry it, and then sell it whenever we want to sell it. Yeah, so that's why we settled on chili.
Awesome. So today, my focus is on the nursery.
Great.
That is interesting. Every time I visit farms, I barely see farmers doing their own nursery. Most of them buy from seedling production centers. But I have seen that you have yours here. Yeah. Now, enlighten us a bit about seedling production or nursery production for your farm. How does it start, or how do you go about it? Yeah. Take us through the process.
Okay, so it's very critical. I mean, I think I have a lot of agronomy friends. Some of them visit us here quite often to see what we're doing. And the narrative is that your successful output at transplanting, it's hinged on what you do at your nursery. Okay. So your nursery is extremely important. If you have bad seedlings, you are definitely going to transplant bad seedlings, and it's going to affect what happens on the field. So you absolutely need to nail it here. It's also about timing. So for example, those who are waiting for the rain, in this community, it starts around April, right? So by now you start preparing your bed, start doing your manure application. So we use chicken manure here. We buy this from a local poultry farm in the community. it's able to stay on the farm for almost 3-4 months, so it cures pretty well. So we'll do the practicals, but
Yeah,
we
sure.
usually just measure usually 4 feet by as long as we want to go, dig the earth, and then get our manure in there. We sort of mix the manure with the earth, and then we have rows we create across the bed with about 6 centimeters, sorry, 6 inches apart from each other, and then we just put the seeds in there, cover them, water it, and then we use these palm fronds to protect them from the harsh sun. Once they start germinating, we would raise these palm fronds up on these stakes, so that we have like 2 feet off the ground to protect the seedlings again from the sun, because they are very young and brittle. So you need to give them a conducive environment to naturally grow. And then the rest is to keep an eye on them, water them at least once a day. At a point, I mean, depending on how they grow, you might need to do a little fertilizer application liquid to put in there. Depending on pests, you might need to do some, pest spraying, insecticide here and there. But the rest is just keeping an eye to see how they grow, and then, keep them
All
going.
right. I want to see the type of seedlings that you nurse.
Okay.
Do we have types of seedlings at the first place? Can I have the seedling?
Yeah, there are loads of them. I
Okay.
mean, these days, because of technology, you have companies, loads of them, that produce seedlings, and then they would give you reasons to buy their seedlings because they are also marketed.
Okay.
So
this is the one.
Yes.
So you use for the nursery.
I mean, so on our farm we use like 3 different kinds.
Okay.
This is the typical local ones we got from Edem.
Okay.
A friend farmer in Edem gave it to them. So these are the local seeds that they when they harvest, they sort of harvest these seeds and then they use again.
Okay.
We have so we have various seeds from Technisem, from Avanta, various seeds, depending on, I mean, hybrid. So on our farm, a session is hybrid seeds. Another session we just do the normal non-hybrid seeds, but from notable brands, and then we just nest a bit of the local for some of our acreage downhill. Yeah.
All right. So when you dig the hole, how many pieces of the seedling do you drop in?
No, so just generous. You pour them in your hands and you just sort of drop them in the trench generously, and then you cover them with the earth.
How long will it last in the soil for before you raise the palm frond?
So in 5 days, they should start germinating.
Okay.
So in 5 days, once you see them starting to germinate, then you need to raise the palm fronds then, exactly.
Okay, so when you raise the palm frond, how long will it stay again before you transplant to the main field?
So once you raise the palm fronds, it takes up to 4 weeks.
Okay.
4 weeks, and then we have something we call hardening. So hardening means that in the morning till about 12 noon, you would remove every covering. So it could be, we either use a net here or use the palm frond.
Okay.
You remove everything to expose the seedlings to the sun. What it does is that it strengthens the seedlings and sort of toughens them up. They get a feel of how survival on the field would be like. So we do that for another week, and then we transplant.
Okay.
So it's practically 4 weeks, sort of treat them like babies, and then 5th week you harden them by exposing them to the sun from morning till about 12 noon, and then you reintroduce the shade, and then 6 weeks down, you just sort of move them onto the field.
How many times am I supposed to water my nursery bed?
So here, Akosomo is pretty humid. So we try to water every day, once a day, sort of good watering, because it's very humid. So again, it depends on where your farm is. If you are in the western region where it rains and the forest vegetation is higher, I'm sure maybe your agronomists there or extension officers there will prescribe what you do. But here, because it's pretty humid, if you pour water in the ground, in no time it's all gone because the heat will just sap it out. So we water once a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know chili, we have the yellow type, the red, and the green.
Yeah.
Do you have all those types?
So on the field now, we have what we call the cayenne, which are the long green. When they mature, they become red. So it depends. Some buyers want them green. So when they are matured green, we sell to them, the off-takers. Some want it red when it's red. But Thelma Farms is I mean, our proposition is a chili farm.
Okay.
So cayenne, bell pepper, jalapeno, scotch bonnet, paposhito, anything pepper.
Okay.
That's what we produce here.
Okay.
But currently on this field now is the cayenne.
How many acre of chili pepper farm is this?
So we have 4 acres here. Now that we've cultivated, downhill we have about 2 acres. So we have another 4 acres on the other side of the farm. So now we are doing the 4 here.
How much is this bottle?
This one a friend gave it to me from Adam.
But
So it was a gift.
have you bought some before?
No.
I mean, ever since you started, you haven't bought a chili pepper?
No. So usually on the market, the hybrid seeds will cost about between 270 to 300 cedis for a 50 gram. The non-hybrid seed will cost between 60 and 80 cedis for a 50 gram. So I mean, I can't talk about any brand here, but that's where the pricing is.
Okay.
But here in Adan, they sell them beer bottle. I don't know the price, but this was a gift from a colleague farmer. So I
see.
Yeah.
So how many bottle of this will fill up a 2 acre or maybe a 1 acre?
So usually with the 50 grams, you need about 3 to do an acre. Again, it depends on the spacing and how dense you want your field to be. But if I speak to my agronomy friends, they always tell you that with 150 grams, you should be able to do an acre and a bit.
Okay. All right. So we're going for you demonstrating how to do your own bed so that an aspiring chili pepper farmer would have a fair idea of how to go about the bed making. And then I'll engage your farm manager. I'll come back to you to talk about the marketability and the profits in chili pepper farming. My name is Edem, and you're watching the Ghanaian Farmer YouTube channel.
My name is Enoch Apronti. I'm a national service personnel with GNPC, and I also work with Thelma Farm as an agri-tech specialist. I'm here today to teach you how to prepare your own chili bed before transplanting them to the field. So let's just start. First of all, we dig the ground to just make it soft. So after digging the ground, you try to make it a little bit tilly, like how he's doing it, using the shovel. The manure. So after that, we add our chicken manure. Try to mix the chicken manure with the soil, so at least every part of the soil fills the. So after the manure, you just add your water to soften the ground. Just add a little water to soften the ground. After that, we try to just create a little with our stick like this, and then try to give out a space so we'll be able to control width. One seed. So there you go. And then you just your seedling into it. Just like this. Just like this. So that is it. And then we have an interesting way of just covering it. So we do this. And it covers it. You do same for. And it covers it. So after that, we try to cover it. So this is a mosquito net. So if you can't use your palm front, you can equally use your mosquito net, and then you are good to go. So we'll try and then peg it. You just peg it. These are just the processes we go through to have our nursery bed ready. So that is it.
So viewers, gone by was the process that you have to go through to make your own chili pepper nursery before transplanting into the main field. Remember, the farmer told you that the quality of seed that you nurse, gives you the outcome of your harvest or how the plant is going to do on the field. So many thanks to your guy Enoch for taking us through the process.
Yeah.
And I see you have graduates on your farm.
Yeah.
People have the perception that
Yeah.
agriculture is for illiterate, but I guess the concept is changing every now and then.
Yeah, it has to. It has to, because anything that is knowledge driven, the how you define success becomes different. So, for example, if I am here with Enoch and we develop our own irrigation system from design to construction to implementing it, there is an element of how the output should be, right? And the process of moving from A to Z has to be driven by knowledge. And so I always say that if you're educated and you are in farming, the chances that it becomes successful from a business perspective,
It's easy.
it's easy.
All right.
Because you bring I mean, so typically when I'm in Accra, I sit with Gideon, my partner, on Fridays in his office, and it's like a boardroom conversation because we are all sort of in management.
Yeah.
So, that's the level we take
All
it.
right.
So it's very important. And a lot of the things Enoch or whoever will learn in the classroom, these are the
You
places
apply
that
it
you
on
can
the field.
apply it and be
Yes,
in
yes,
charge
yes.
and not feel like there's 4 layers of bosses.
Okay.
So you can always test your own
Okay.
imagination and
Right.
thinking here. Yeah.
So one quick thing I want to find out is that what is the difference between me going to a nursery production center, buying my nursery, then straightforward come and plant on the field, as against you who buy your own seedling, dig the grounds, use the chicken manure, or go through all of this before transplanting? Is there any difference?
Well, I think the going to buy the seedlings is a convenience, right? So you don't have to go through the rigmarole of doing your own like you saw us do down there. But I think from the cost point, I think is the value for money story is better when you do it yourself. And just like you did it yourself, so you know what you did.
Okay.
So you have an expectation of what comes out. So
Right.
it's more like what you put in is what you get out, sort of. Yeah. So.
My YouTube viewers, because of their background, they would always stress on how much did he invest? From land to labor to seedling to irrigation, even if not the right amount. Are you able to give an estimate?
No, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, and for Gideon and myself, so I'll tell you typically what we did. We had to get electricity from the nearest power point to the farm, which was 500 meters. So anybody who is into connecting power of 500 meters can tell you what the cost point is. We're talking about close to about 20,000 cedis to make that happen, right? You want to drill a borehole today, it's about 15,000 cedis. We had a peculiar challenge because our farm is a bit uphill, and can tell you the number of times a rig came here and failed. So the rig that we eventually got here, we had to pay premium because they burst their tie, they broke their hydraulic systems, so it's pretty expensive. And then land acquisition, it's a lot of money.
Did you buy the land outright or it's for lease?
Some bought, some leased. So you're paying between 100, 200 cedis for a lease acre a year. You are paying about 10, 12,000 cedis for an acre. And then land preparation, because this place was like, like a virgin forest of a sort. So
you have a lot of work to do.
And as you saw, when we drove up here almost 500 meters, we had to create the road path here. So you bring in bulldozers and all these things. And those guys are charging you like...
have money.
No, it's not about having money, but it's about if you're a businessman, it's in, out, right? So it feels like it's going to be good at the out. So let's put the in and see what happens at the out. Yeah.
One thing that viewers are also very keen about is marketing.
Yeah.
And you didn't find out how much sacks are you able to harvest at the end of the day from this acre. Yeah. And after harvesting, what next? Do you boil it like the women, our mothers do, boil dry, or you have a system of drying? And how long can you store it in your warehouse before taking it to the market? Can you take us through that process?
So the go-to-market strategy is still in works. So I'll tell you what we did with our 1.5 acre last season. So we typically harvested it, took it down there. We'll get there. You see, so we were firstly drying them on roofing sheets. But climate change, last year around July, when nobody was expecting it to be raining, it was raining heavily. So when Evans and his 3 women farmers are up here and it starts raining, by the time you run down there to cover them, it's already drenched. And we had a lot of challenge. So we managed to build a chamber that we dry. One of the things that actually took us by surprise was harvesting. I mean, we could spend bring 10 women here, they'll spend 2 days. By the time they harvest up to half an acre, it's already ready behind them. And we're amazed. There was a problem.
Yes.
Anybody who can say, what's your biggest problem? Our biggest problem is that we are harvesting too much. It was a problem. Frankly, we didn't optimize what we harvested because I'm sure we were focused on production and we didn't think about what happens at the end of the channel. Okay. Now, we've learned. So what are we doing this season? This season, we have 2 or 3 options. One option is to invest in an efficient dryer. So we are talking about $20,000-$25,000 type of a dryer. So if we are harvesting here, we don't fear because we just go and dry it and then release it on the market as and when we want to. The other one is to get off-takers. So we are talking to a couple of off-takers, very advanced conversations who are willing to pick good volumes. We also have our market women all the way from Somanya, Gomanya, Bon, Atimpoku to Akosombo market. They also come in and they pick. So I'm not sure we've had a problem of who buys our product, but whether we were selling at the right price to optimize our investment, I'm not sure because we didn't put a lot of metrics and thinking into it. But I think this season we figured it out.
So were you able to count the number of sacks you carried away?
Yeah. I think we did when I worked there.
From the 1.5 acre.
Yeah, I think we did about 1.4 tons. That's about 14. 1.4 tons. That's what we did.
Okay.
I mean, in Ghana, people will tell you that if you're able to do 2 tons an acre, you've done well. But if you go to Vietnam, they are doing 10, 12 tons an acre. So there's still much room.
How are you managing the climate change? Because it's here and staring in the face of every farmer.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
So practically, that was one, getting our borehole investment, which helps because we have the irrigation system. If the rain doesn't come, we just put our system on and our farm is wet. Good. Secondly is the seedlings we use. So we typically choose drought-resistant seeds. Last year was typical. We knew it was going to rain in April, May, so we did our nursery transplanted. In 6 weeks, there was no rain. But our plants survived just because the seeds we went for, which were very expensive,
Okay.
were drought resistant.
All right.
So they survived. So when rain came again in 6 weeks, we didn't lose anything. But other farmers I spoke to, they lost
They
their
lost
entire
everything.
field.
So the seedling also
it's
matters.
very important because these days,
Mm.
companies who produce for the world, especially Africa, they know what we are faced with. So they try to, get us good seeds that can stand zero water for 6-7 weeks. So go for them. And so
okay, so Alom, it's been an insightful conversation with you, and thanks for having me in your farm. Akosombo, thanks to you. Today I know Akosombo. Hey.
Yeah.
Elom, so you mentioned a dryer that you use to dry the pepper after harvesting from the farm. What inspired this idea?
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff on YouTube. You can see a lot of research, USAID, etc., funded in East Africa. We wanted to run away from these platforms. We dry, the rains were all over the place. We couldn't manage the weather, so we built this. So these are trays. So we pack the peppers on these shelves, about 10 of them, and then there is a gas-powered system at the base. So these are the valves. You connect it to the cylinder and then power it.
Okay, so it uses gas.
Gas, yes. And the heat rises through the chamber and then heats it up.
How long does it stay in the oven?
Usually 4 or 5 hours.
Okay.
Then you could get it well dry. But one thing I was saying about is that we always strive for efficiency, and then we realize that it's helping, but it's not the most efficient. So our next target is to move a notch up and get something which is more efficient than this. Yeah. So you're always welcome.
Right. So yes, probably my
pleasure.
viewers out there who would want to get in touch with you, maybe for some tips or investment wise or buying from you. Is there any contact number you want to share?
Sure. So our website is www.silmorefarms.com, info@silmorefarms.com. Phone number 0244866201.
Okay.
If you call, we don't pick, we'll surely call you back. Yeah.
Okay.
And then their social media is Silmore Farms on IG, Facebook, Twitter. We try our best. We are not social media geeks, but we try our best. Yeah.
Okay, so there you have it. Elom Segbe.
Fear.
My elder brother, Elom Segbefia. He is a project manager with UK Aid, and he is the co-founder of Tilmore Farms here in Akosombo. For now, they are into chili, and they produce their own nursery bed, which his colleague has also taken you through the process of making your own nursery bed. That is, if you don't want to patronize the services of seedling production centers. It also helps you learn more the techniques, get to know the challenges and everything. So that also you would have to consider, going about making your own nursery bed. My name is Enyonam, and the Ghanaian farmer, business stealing the land.